Now, I'm not a lawyer, ladies and gentlemen, but I'll always admit when I'm wrong. I am very proud of the fact that I was brought up by women who always put me in my place when I was younger, and I got a bit self-righteous. And when I eventually joined the army in my late teens, I remember one of my sisters telling me, just never look back and always remember the only thing good about the shithole corner of North Wales that I grew up in is the scenery. So anyway, it's a shame that we have left-wing so-called journalists, or as I like to call them, activists, working here in Britain today, who have trouble telling the truth and just can't accept that they lie. And that's a problem throughout the whole mainstream media today. And that's become apparent ever since Brexit, Trump, the Conservatives. Anything that's not left-wing, they will lie about it. Of course, they will lie about left-wing stuff as well. They will promote left-wing propaganda like it's the truth. And that's what Soviet communism was like, or socialism, which is kind of the same thing in a different way. So take Carole Cadwalladr, for example, or as I like to call her, Carole Codswallop, because it has been proven time and time again that what she peddles as news or facts in her articles are in fact codswallop, huge fabrications designed to destroy people, all in the name of left-wing propaganda, or in her case, trying to get the UK to rejoin or stay in the European Union. Now, Carole Codswallop is currently in the High Court in London defending a case of defamation against her. And loosely what she did was she accused Arron Banks, a major donator to the Brexit cause, of having been financed by the Russians. Of course, it was all lies. He's currently suing her. And it looks like he's going to win, because look at this tweet she wrote. 4 years of abuse, 2.5 years of legal harassment, 3 brutal days on the stand. It was designed to crush me, and it might. And I hope it does. And I hope Arron Banks takes her to the cleaners, because there has to be a huge penalty and someone being made an example of, her preferably, for telling lies and peddling it as the truth. And then she tweeted this the other day. The last 2 years, and especially the last year, last months, last weeks and last days, have taken a massive toll on my physical and psychological health and every aspect of my life. I have felt under assault because I have been. Well, now she knows what it's like to be on the other end of the stick, because her lies about Arron Banks, Nigel Farage and others have resulted in them getting the most horrendous abuse by lefties online and otherwise. Nigel Farage had milkshake thrown over him. And stuff like this can only happen because people have been whipped up into a frenzy. And she did. She whipped up the gullible lefties on Twitter and via her articles into a frothy hysteria of hate, so much that they decided to assault people. Now, the hate that people like Nigel Farage, Arron Banks and others are experiencing, she is experiencing right now, and rightly so, because she's been brought to account. And let's be honest here, Carole Codswallop thought she had a free hand to peddle unsubstantiated claims and highly questionable journalism, and in the end she pushed it too far, and somebody decided they had grounds to take her to court. And this woman is an award-winning journalist, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've been following this case through Guido Fawkes on Twitter, so I can know what's going on. And according to Guido Fawkes, on her opening cross-examination, the barrister for Arron Banks asked her 3 times to confirm that her witness statement, which she had just sworn to be true, was correct. And she eventually conceded it was inaccurate. This was 2 minutes into the cross-examination. And also, at one point in her testimony, she repeats the libel that Arron Banks was in the pay of the Russians, something she's already admitted is untrue. Now, this is absolutely bonkers, for her to reassert a libel that she's admitted is untrue. And according to Guido Fawkes, at one point during the cross-examination, she told the judge, "I think this line of questioning is deliberate to shame and humiliate me. Part of that effort to shame and humiliate me is to do with me being a woman." And apparently that's the same line she takes when anyone challenges the accuracy of her journalism. That's the thing with these people, these lefties in general. If you dare question their logic or their reasoning or their rhetoric, and they have absolutely no idea how to answer you or to justify their way of thinking, or in Carole Codswallop's case, her lies, then they will accuse you of doing so because of their gender, sexual orientation, religion, skin colour. You know what I'm getting at, folks. Like I've said to you, folks, these people think they're right. It's in their head that the crap they peddle is true when it's not. And it's also interesting to note that 7 press freedom groups have joined forces to express their alarm and have reiterated their support of her at this lawsuit, calling for it to be dropped and calling for the British government to defend public interest journalism. I'm interpreting public interest journalism as its true form, which is biased pro-EU activism and influence over citizens to vote in a way that they want, not the public. So anyway, these groups are Reporters Without Borders, Article 19, European Federation of Journalists, European Centre for Press and Media Freedom, Greenpeace, Index on Censorship. Many of these organisations are based in Europe, Germany, Paris, Brussels. And remember, the fundamental point here is that Carole Codswallop peddled the lie that Arron Banks and Brexit was funded by the Russians when it wasn't. And Russian collusion was a major lie also peddled by Brussels, the European Union itself. So these organisations, the EU, journalist activists like Carole Codswallop, were all working together to influence the British public into rejoining the EU via the ridiculous people's vote, the second vote that was being peddled, or by other means. So they were all working together to squash democracy and the will of the British people. Thankfully, it didn't work, and thankfully, some people here are facing the consequences, as they should do, and rightly so. Now, I don't think Carole Codswallop should get harassment in any shape or form, but I think she deserves to be taken to the cleaners, and Arron Banks takes her for everything that she's got. And it's becoming evident that she must be the biggest ever Fleet Street bullshitter. And if you go into her Twitter account, you will see a few retractions and apologies for reporting Codswallop. And this woman gets awards for journalism. It's just nuts, folks. It really is nuts. It's just the same as Jimmy Savile getting awards galore for being a philanthropist. Because lies, ladies and gentlemen, can cause greater harm than any physical altercation ever could. People who hate you but can't get to you will lie about you. And quite frankly, I think it's cowardly. And lefties on the internet who do lie on a regular basis, they need to realise the internet always keeps receipts. And that's a good tip for anyone, really, I think. Anyway, that's my video. I hope you like. Please let me know what you think in the comments. And also, YouTube and Google have demonetised my channel, yet they still whack adverts on my videos, thus profiteering from my work. And I think that's wrong. So that's why I've set up the Buy Me a Beer thing. The link is in the description down below. It's up to you. So if you like what I do, if you love what I do, you just want to support free speech and give YouTube and Google the finger at the same time, then by all means, you can buy me a beer. And it's worth noting some lefties hate it that people buy me a beer and support my channel. They don't like it. Yet they forget that their comrades do exactly the same thing on Patreon and on Twitter. Fucking hypocrites. Right, that's it. So please comment, share, subscribe. Share my stuff everywhere. Around the cosmos, the Milky Way and beyond. So every being gets to see what I talk about. Comment, share, subscribe. Until the next video, Roger Trout.